everyone. How's everyone today? Welcome to Commercial Farming with the Dirt Road Farmer. Well, today we're going to be doing several things today. One of them that we're going to do is take care of this field. Now this field is the one that we just harvested the wheat off of, and we picked the straw off of for our cows. So as we had talked earlier about the chopped straw mod, which is, by the way, a great mod, we didn't leave any straw on this field. We picked it up. We hauled it off. Therefore, we didn't get the benefit of the chopped straw mod when we harvested. So if you look down in the right hand corner, bottom corner, you'll see that we have no fertilizer at all. Well, we got to change that. So this is the order in which we have to do this field. First of all, because FS22 says we have to, yeah, we have to mulch this field. Now that is the first order of business. And this has to be done in sequence. Mulching has to be done directly after harvesting. If you try to say come in and cultivate the field before you do the mulching, yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. It won't work. So you've got to do the mulching right after you get done harvesting. All right, that's the first thing that we have to do. Now, because we don't have any fertilizer on here, we have to manually put fertilizer on here. And what we're going to do is put slurry. We're going to apply slurry onto this field. Okay. Now, we had choices. You know, we could put solid fertilizer on it. We could put liquid fertilizer on it. You know, whichever. But I have chose slurry because it's free. You know, we have a lot of it from our cattle. All right, so that's going to be the second thing that we do, is put the slurry on this field. All right, now, because FS22 says we have to, then we have to change the ground texture. All right, if you manually, and I mean anything other than the chopped straw mod, if you manually put it on here, then you have to change the ground texture if you want your planter or seeder to put the second stage of fertilizer on the field whenever it plants. However, there is another way you can do it. You can go ahead and plant. Now, you won't get the second stage of fertilizer then, but if you wait until after your crop comes up and after the first growth stage, then you can come in and fertilize it, and you will get your second stage of fertilizer there. So there's a lot of choices, but you know, there's so much going on this farm, and I'm busy all the time, that whenever I get done planting, I want it to be 100% fertilizer then. I don't want to take the chance on forgetting, you know, to watch that crop and watch the first growth stage and come back and fertilize then. I want it all done whenever I'm done planting. That's just me. You know, if you want to do it a different way, then yeah, you know, not a problem. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get up in here and let's get back out of this farm. Alright, let's see here. Now we're in field 5, which is right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to clear that course. And we're going to look over here and see if we have a field 5, which I'm almost sure we do right there. But we don't have a mulch. All we have is a harvest. Alright. Let's go up here and let's create a job. You create the job, field position, bring this over to field 5, drop it, open the course generator, and we don't want three of them in here. We just want one, and we'll have him skip a row, which is fine. Alright, and we've already got that done. Okay, we'll go back down here, and we can save that course, or we can just, we've only got one tractor running in it. We don't have to load it in multiple tractors. I think we'll just leave it just like that. So let's just get out of it. Let's bring the small HUD up. You can see we have a temporary course. First waypoint. Let's tell him to go to work. Alright. Now he's gonna start, yeah, he's gonna start unfolding it. And how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is just fantastic. We are finally getting a break in the weather. And yeah, we had a little bit of ice in our neck of the woods. And thankfully, it wasn't as bad as we were expecting. But yeah, it could have been. But we came through it just fine. No loss of power or anything like that. Of course, me and my wife, we stayed home. We didn't get out in it. There was no reason to get out in it. And yeah. All right. Well, this guy is off and about. He is getting it done. And I think while he's doing that, I think we're going to go and we're going to get our slurry tank and spreader, and we'll get it down here and get ready to spread slurry, because I would like to get this planted today. So I'll see you in just a little bit. All right. Well, we are filling up our slurry tanker with our spreader on it, and this is our slurry pit. If whenever I clean the barns out, I usually come over here and put it in here, and we have a lot of slurry, and that's why even though it's a little more of a hassle, it's free, and we need to use this slurry up. We need to put it on our fields. I think, to be honest about it, I think it's a little more beneficial economically for us to do this than it is to put solid fertilizer or liquid fertilizer on it, because you know, that costs money. We're not here to spend all the money that we have. We're here to make money, you know. So anyway, we're going to let this guy fill up, because it's going to take just a minute, and I'll get right back with you. All right, well, let's get this guy unfolded. The guy that's mulching has completed the field, so we'll get this guy unfolded. I've already got a course plate track in here. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can tell him to go to work. Alright, temporary course. First waypoint. Alright. Yeah, naturally he wants to fold up. He didn't want us to unfold him. How about that? Yeah. Alright then. Yeah, he wanted to fold it up. He wanted to unfold himself whenever he gets where he wants to be. Ain't that awful? That's terrible. Alright. Now, let's get rid of the HUD. And there we are. And I will have to say that we are kind of on the nasty end of business here. Yes. Yeah, it's not very pleasant back here. Alright. Well, this is just my choice of fertilizer, mainly because it's free and we have it. But you certainly do not have to put down slurry. You know, this is just, I mean, you may have fertilizer, manure. Manure does the same thing. Come through and put manure down. You know, or you can do liquid fertilizer, solid fertilizer, and I do not want to forget the fact that maybe you are a farmer that don't really care what your fertilizer state is. You know, who am I to say? That's that's what makes this so great, is everybody does their own thing, you know, and I certainly don't have anything against it whatsoever. But yeah, this is my choice of fertilizer, and what we're going to do is finish this up, and then we'll have to come in and cultivate it, because like we just got through talking about, I want to be completely 100% fertilized, and you know, everything whenever I'm done planting. That way I can move on to something else and know that the job is done. Now, if you see what's happening here. This is completely normal, and as most of you already know, he is compensating for the width of the field. So from here on, he'll be taking a full swipe. So he's just merely compensating for the width of the field, that's all. Alright, well, we're going to let him get on with his getting on. And we've got something new on the farm that we're going to be trying out today. Now, I will admit I have tried this before on a different farm, and it just did not work out for me. And that is the John Deere planter. Let's go over and take a look at it. Let's back up here just a little bit, and we'll just click over there onto him and jump out and take a look. Now, I tried this once before, and it's been quite a while ago. Hopefully this thing has had an update and it works well. I've watched other channels that says it does, and yeah, hopefully it does. Where I had my problems at was turning at the end of the field. When my helper would turn, it would catch right here on the tongue, and it would just cause havoc. So we're going to try it, And it may be that we can retire our big buds, which we have 3 of, and those planters, and just try something new, you know. Plus, we're going to be pulling this new John Deere planter with a case. Now, in the past, most of the time you'll see me pulling a planter or a seeder. Most of the time a seeder, because my seeder is big. You'll see me pull it with a big bud. Well, these seeders are not as hard to pull. So I don't need 1100 horsepower. But this has 692 horsepower, so it is a horse. So, yeah. And of course, we're going to be pulling our cultivator, and it is a big cultivator. We're going to be pulling it with the same. So, yeah. Anyway, it's kind of exciting, and I can't wait to see what this thing's going to do with this planter. We'll just have to wait and find out. So, anyway, I'll get back with you when we get just a little farther along. All right. Well, this guy is getting right on along. Doing a great job. The only thing bad about whenever you have to apply your first stage of fertilizer, of course, is the added expense. You know, while the slurry is free because of the cattle that we have, you still got maintenance on the equipment. I'm paying a driver to do it. Now, I wouldn't have to. I could do this myself. As a matter of fact, I could do it with GPS, and you know, I wouldn't have labor involved. But you still have the vehicle maintenance and all of that involved, plus your time. And whenever you're running a commercial farm, time is everything. I do mean everything. So you don't have a lot of time to waste, you know. So there's that. And the fact that excuse me, I'm sorry. The mere thing of having an extra, actually 2 extra steps that you have to do. Number one, you have to apply the fertilizer. That's one step. And then the next step is you have to change the ground texture. Well, you know, on some of our fields, if you've been watching me, they are huge. And you start adding different steps to getting that field replanted. And yeah, that's a whole different ball game. You know, there's a lot of time involved in that. And we're going to see some of that because we have planted corn as a crop rotation on all the fields that we harvested soybeans on. We replanted with corn for the crop rotation. So yeah, we're going to see some of that pain of the extra step, because when we harvest that corn, FS22 says we've got to plow that land. So yeah. So anyway, we're going to let this guy finish up, and then we're going to start cultivating this to change the ground texture, and then we're going to get it planted. All right, well, our guy is far enough ahead over there spreading our slurry that I thought we would bring our cultivator in and get him started. So I didn't try to unfold him this time because most of the time they want to do that themselves. Alright. Let's get rid of our HUD. And he is changing the ground texture. He's cultivating. Alright. Now this is one of those necessary evils. You know. Yeah. All the steps that you have to go through in order to get your 100% yield bonus, you know, which is what I like to do. You know, I don't, everything you see on here is just my way of doing different things, and that's all it is. Just my way. So anyway, we're gonna let this guy, actually I think that's a young lady driving that for me. We're gonna let her work on this a little while, and hopefully our guy over there, he'll get it all finished with fertilizing. Looks like he may be getting close over there, but I think so far he has spread something like 300,000 liters of slurry on this field, so it really goes fast. Alright, well, we're going to let these two work in this field. When we get it completely cultivated, then we can come back in and get it planted. And that's kind of what I'm waiting on, is to make sure that planter is going to work the way it's supposed to. If it does not, I have a backup. Yeah, I still have a big bud with a cedar on it, and I know it works great. So we're going to find out, you know. Now, what I need to do here is go in and tell this guy it's okay to get off the field. That's what I need to do. Alright, so we're going to bring this up, and let's come down here. Let's see, where is it at? Alright, see, I need to change that. Deactivate it. It's okay if he gets off the field. So, he's going to stay on the field for this turn because he's already committed. But now he'll go off the field and turn around. So, yeah, I should have thought about it. There's a lot of settings, and if you don't remember one, you're going to find out when there's equipment doesn't do what you're wanting it to do. You're going to find out real quick. If you made a mistake somewhere, you overlooked something. So, yeah. All right, well, we're going to let him continue on, and hopefully we can get the planter in here real soon. All right, well, our guy is done cultivating. Looks like he's finishing up right now. And let's go ahead and fold him up. Now, I don't know why I've got this cultivator set to be pulled at 15 miles an hour. Now, yes, that's it's kind of high. I understand that, but you know, it can still be done. You know, that's not really unrealistic. But for some reason, this case did not pull this cultivator at 15 miles an hour. It would only pull it at 12 miles an hour. So now, what I don't know is it the case's fault or what? Will the case not pull it 15 miles an hour? And we're going to find out. Yeah. All right. Let's jump out of him and let's go get in our planter because the time has come for us to plant. All right. Now, I want everybody to keep their fingers crossed that this planter works correctly now. And, you know, able to make turns and do what it needs to do. So, all right, we're going to set up a temporary course. As soon as we wait for it to save, of course. All right. Let's go down here. This is a new tractor, so we don't have a course in him yet. All right, good deal. So let's create a job. Course play field work. Put that on there. All right, one tractor. We don't need any headlands. Field work up and down, rows to skip. Let's skip one row. We're going to skip one row and give him every chance in the world to work correctly and be able to get turned around. All right, let's generate the field work course. And we've got that done. All right. Now let's bring up the small HUD. Of course, we'll have to bring our big HUD back up. We want him to start at the first waypoint. And let's do it. Let's find out. This is the moment of truth. Boy, it looks nice, doesn't it? As soon as he gets all unfolded there. Everything going. And it looks like he finally got it wound up where he's ready to go. Very good. Now normally we would jump out right here and check to make sure we're planting wheat, which is what we're wanting to do, and that everything is on point. But what we're going to do is make sure he gets turned around correctly. Yeah, that's where I had problems when I tried to use this. Oh, it's been quite a while ago, and it was on a different map. So yeah, so we're just watching for right now. Once we make sure he gets turned around okay, then we'll get out and we'll check and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And we're getting the results that we're expecting. So, all right. We are getting closer. All right, now let's make sure he gets turned around, all right? Yeah. All right. Everything looks good so far. Actually, everything looks real good so far. Very good. I am satisfied with that for sure. All right, well, we did it together because I really didn't know what the outcome was going to be. All right, so now let's jump out and let's make sure that we've got the outcome that we wanted. We'll have to turn the HUD back on. And there we are. We have planted wheat. And we've got 100% yield bonus, 100% fertilized. So, yes, absolutely. That looks mighty fine. All right. Well, we're going to let him plant for a little while, and I'll get right back with you. All right. Well, everything is really looking good. Yes. That big case is doing a great job. Now, somebody may ask, why do you run those big flotation tires on everything? And, my answer would kind of be a two-part answer. First of all, do you know what these big flotation tires are and what they do? Flotation tires keep you from packing the ground in different spots. In other words, where you're planting, if you've got narrow tires, they're going to sink down into the soil a whole lot more, which means maybe you'll get seed down in there and maybe not, you know, and you're just packing the ground. That's a heavy tractor. So I use the flotation tires for that. And another reason is I kind of like the looks of it. I like that better than I like the duals, you know. But, you know, Mama brought me in some, my wife, bless her heart, she is always in the kitchen doing something. She loves to cook and always has. But she brought me in something a while ago. It was what she called fruitcake squares. Never had them before. Didn't know they existed, but my wife made them, and she brought them in, and yes, they were fine. They were great. And you know, that got me to thinking back when I was younger, just a small lad, you know, young guy. Of course, we lived in the country, and I'm guessing that the closest grocery store to us at the time was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 miles, maybe 30 miles. And that wasn't a very big grocery store at that. It was nothing in comparison to these big shopping centers that we have today, you know. Nothing like that. Now, in our little hometown, we did have what they called a general store. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in a general store before, an old country general store. But yeah, they had everything from scoop to nuts. But what they didn't have was a lot of things that you just wanted. You know, a lot of desserts, donuts and stuff like that. No, this a general store. Now, you would be able to go in there and buy nuts and bolts for your farm equipment. And at the same time, you could go up to the meat counter and ask for lunch meat, which they would slice immediately. You know, I mean, all your lunch meat was sliced fresh, whatever you wanted. But as far as having that fancy stuff like pastries and all that, no, that wasn't available. So if you wanted that, you had to go quite a distance, you know. And like I said, it was 25, 30 miles probably to the closest grocery store. where you could purchase something like that. All right, well, my mother at the time, she she came up with a donut. Now, you say, well, no, she didn't invent the donut. No, my mother did not invent the donut. And what I'm fixing to tell you, I'm sure she didn't invent. But she would make homemade donuts out of biscuits. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever had anything like that. But what you do is she would buy a can of Wop biscuits. And the reason I call them Wop biscuits is because this can of biscuits that you could buy, and you can still buy them, they come in a roll, and you tear the paper off of it, and then you're supposed to whop that thing on the counter. And that container will pop open, and you have biscuits inside there that you can lay in there and make biscuits. Lay in your pan and bake them, and they'll pop up real nice, and they make great biscuits. Well, now at the time, you could probably buy 4 of those cans of biscuits for about $1. Yeah, and if they were on sale, you could buy them cheaper than that, but 4 cans for $1, that was about right. So anyway, my mother would take those biscuits out of there, and she would hold them in her hand, and she would punch a hole in the middle of them and form them where they were a little bit bigger. Now this is just raw dough, is what she's working with. And then she would deep fry these in a vegetable oil or lard, whatever we had. A lot of times we had lard. Actually, most of the time we had lard. Sometimes we had vegetable oil. But then she would fry these donuts in that oil. And they would swell up and cook to a nice golden brown. And then she would mix, excuse me, and then she would mix powdered sugar, a little bit of milk, and vanilla flavoring, and she would come up with the icing to go on those biscuits. Now, you talk about having a treat. That was our treat, and it was pretty fantastic. I will say one thing. I've eaten donuts from some of your top-notch donut places, bakeries, and some of them didn't hold a candle to those Wop biscuit donuts at all. So that's just another one of my tidbits, one of my stories that, you know, I've said many times. They just are memories of what we used to do whenever I was a child. And but I will challenge you, if you've never had a Wop biscuit donut, yeah, you need to go try that. You would be surprised at how good of a donut that makes. So, but anyway, this guy is getting right along, and everything is completely flawless. The only thing I can say about my experience with this planter and seed cart earlier, whenever I tried it, is maybe there's been some updates on it since then, because there's not a thing wrong with this now. It is doing a fantastic job. So anyway, we're going to let it continue to let this guy continue to plant. Whenever he reaches the end of the field over here, over where he's headed, then he'll turn around and he'll come back and pick up all these rows that he's skipping. So I'll get back with you here in just a few moments. All right, well, as you can see, this guy is getting right on across this field. He's already reached the far side and he's on his way back. And he is flat putting some seed in the ground. That is excellent. You know, we can go down here and look at that planter. Isn't that awesome? That is awesome. All the detail on it. Man. My goodness. You know, I've said it many, many times. These modders that modify this stuff and put it on this game for us to use, I take my hat off to them. I thank them because these guys are geniuses. And yeah, that's way, way above my pay grade. I can tell you that right now. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the modders out there that does this kind of work and puts it on this game free of charge for us to use. Yes, that's awesome. You guys are top notch. But anyway, as you can see, we've almost got this field done. We can talk about all the steps that we've done today. The first thing that we done is we mulched this field, knocked down the stubble. The second thing we done is we sprayed slurry on it and fertilized it. The third thing we done is we had to change the ground texture, so we came in with a cultivator and we cultivated it. And of course, your last step is planting. And I think we've made some pretty good progress. So anyway, if you like this content, and this is just a friendly reminder, please go down there and hit that thumbs up. Man, that just does me a world of good. Hit that thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time I publish a new video, go over and ring that bell right beside the subscribe. Every bit of it's free and it doesn't cost you anything at all, but it does me a world of good, and it gets these videos out there where other people can see them that may not have run across one of my videos yet. So anyway, I would just be thrilled if you would do that for me. I'd appreciate it very much. But I think we're going to call it a day. Like I said, this is a small field, and if you've been following me, you know that it's a small field. But we needed straw for our cows because we were running low. So yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to call it a day. And as always, from the Dirt Road Farmer, thank you very, very much for watching.